Yeah, I know, guys. I haven't made a video for a 2016 movie in fucking forever. And I don't even know if doing a spoiler for this movie is necessary, because unless you were denied a childhood, you have seen the 1967 animation that Disney gave us of the Jungle Book then. But you know what? I'm gonna talk about this Jungle Book anyway, because it was excellent. So this movie opens up and you see Mowgli the man-cub running through the jungle with his wolf pack and Bagheera. He has lived in this jungle his whole life. He was raised by this wolf pack and he is trying to learn how to become one of them. The problem, however, is because he is a human child, he is unable to really run with and keep up with the wolf pack. So he tries to keep up with them with little human tricks like finding shortcuts and building tools to help him along the way. But Bagheera is very quick to stop him on this, because he tells Mowgli that if he's going to be a human that's going to live in the jungle, he needs to learn to become one with the pack. And right here, I loved seeing the conflict that Mowgli has to deal with, because he is a human that's trying to live in the jungle amongst these animals, and he can't survive in here the way that an animal can. He needs to use his human skills in order to do that. But if he does do that, that's going to make him stand out more among the animals, and he's not really going to be able to fit in. And then later on in the movie, we see all the animals come together to drink in this water hole at the Peace Rock. The jungle is currently in its dry season, so there's not really any water anywhere. So this place, this area, is where all the animals can come together, drink from this water, and no one has to worry about getting eaten or being hunted by any other animal. And you can tell right here in this scene that some of the animals, they're not too thrilled with having a man-cub in their presence. But there's one animal who despises Mowgli's presence to a very uncomforting level, and that is Shere Khan the tiger. So much so that he has appeared in front of the wolf pack and all of the other animals to tell them that once this dry season is over and the Peace Rock is no longer needed, he is going to kill Mowgli. And Mowgli, knowing that the wolf pack is in danger if he is still there, ultimately decides to leave himself. But Bagheera, knowing he can't survive all by himself, volunteers to take Mowgli to the man village where he will be safe and finally with his own kind. However, at this point, the dry season in the jungle has ended, and en route to the man village, Shere Khan ambushes Bagheera and Mowgli. He tries to kill Mowgli right then and right there. Bagheera is able to temporarily fight off Shere Khan. He tells Mowgli to just run and get to the other side of the jungle where Bagheera will eventually meet him there. Mowgli is luckily able to escape from Shere Khan through the use of a water buffalo herd that's running through this pit. But although he's able to escape Shere Khan, Mowgli now has to survive all by himself deep in the jungle. He's in this very thick and foggy part of this jungle where he eventually runs into this enormous python called Kaa. And she tells Mowgli that she knows where he came from, she knows what he is, even telling him that she knows that when Mowgli was a baby, Shere Khan tried to attack him and his father in the middle of the jungle. But Mowgli's father was able to stop Shere Khan through the use of fire, or what the animals call the red flower. This left Shere Khan horribly scarred on the side of his face, which is the reason behind his hatred for humans. But at the same time, Mowgli's father was killed by Shere Khan, and with that, Bagheera took the baby Mowgli, brought him to the wolf pack for them to raise him as their own. And I will say, this thing right here had me raising a few questions. One, was Kaa just like in this area when this happened, and she just saw everything that occurred, and that's how she knows what happened to Mowgli? I don't know, that right there just seems like a major convenience for this movie, in my opinion. And two, I'm gonna say this right now, if you're a father and you bring like your little 2-year-old son into the middle of the jungle, that's just horrible parenting right there. You're asking for your son to get killed. But the whole time as Kaa's telling the story, she's using that hypnosis thing in her eyes to put Mowgli into this kind of trance so he doesn't know what's going on. And she's just about to eat him when out of nowhere something shows up, fights her off, and saves Mowgli. We eventually discovered that what saved him was Baloo the bear, voiced by Bill Murray. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the best I have seen Bill Murray in forever. Or seen Bill Murray, I guess. I mean, it's technically his voice, so he's not actually in the movie. You know what I mean? I mean, he's funny, he's sarcastic, he's carefree. Even when he first meets Mowgli, he's just all like, so yeah, I kind of saved you from getting eaten by that snake, so you kind of owe me now, dude. And he's one of the few animals that tells Mowgli to embrace his humanity. I mean, yeah, he says that so Mowgli will help bring him food, but also at the same time, it helps Mowgli discover what he's capable of doing. Just the way he's able to build all these tools, conduct these experiments, just finding all these ways to collect food for Baloo. And as a result, you see Baloo and Mowgli form this really close bond with each other. You know, they're sitting together, they're working together, which is great for Mowgli in the fact that he's been alone for so long because of what he had to leave behind. And speaking of what he had to leave behind, we learned that Shere Khan, he's not giving up too easily on killing Mowgli. He returns to the the wolf pack. The wolf pack leader tells Shere Khan that Mowgli has left the jungle. He's gone to the man village. He will no longer be around. And Shere Khan just grabs the leader of the pack. He throws him off of a cliff and kills him. And he wants word of the dead pack leader to spread throughout the jungle because he knows the second Mowgli hears about that, he'll come back to the pack where Shere Khan will kill him. And what's great about this scene for the movie is you just see how much of an evil villain Shere Khan truly is. He doesn't want Mowgli gone. He wants him dead, and he will stop at nothing to make that happen. In the meantime, Bagheera has finally reunited with Mowgli. He's discovered what he's been helping Baloo do. And what was great about this scene is it adds a lot more conflict for Mowgli. It's like he has the shoulder angel and the shoulder devil on his shoulders, each telling him different things. On one hand, he has Baloo, who tells him to embrace what he's capable of doing, use that to his advantage to help him get through what he needs to get through. And on the other hand, you have Bagheera, who's been trying to tell him to fit in, forget your human instincts, try to become the animals that you want to live among. But later on that night, Bagheera starts to see what Mowgli is truly capable of doing. Mowgli's able to approach a herd of elephants. One of the calves is stuck in this deep pit, which Baloo and Bagheera think is crazy because elephants are viewed as the most respected animals in the whole jungle. But not only is Mowgli able to approach them, but he's able to use his equipment and his tools to help the elephants pull the baby out of the pit and save it. So through that bond that Mowgli just formed with the elephants, Bagheera is now starting to see his potential. But at the same time, there are others in the jungle that are aware of what Mowgli's capable of doing, like the monkeys. The monkeys all kidnap him, they take him to this temple where he is delivered to King Louie. He's this giant orangutan voiced by Christopher Walken. And I'm gonna say this right now, Christopher Walken as King Louie, that was surprisingly really good voice casting. I mean, he just comes off as like this mobster gangster dude. It's like, yeah, I can help you, but for the right price. He even straight up sings a song in this movie, which I was not expecting from Christopher Walken. Dude actually had a solid voice, not gonna lie. He tells Mowgli that he has no hope of surviving in the jungle, only King Louie can protect him, which he's willing to do. But King Louie wants the most powerful thing in the jungle itself, and that is the secret to the red flower, which he says, because Mowgli is human, is capable of giving to him. But Mowgli obviously has absolutely no idea what the red flower really is, seeing that he's been among animals his whole life and never with humans. So Baloo and Bagheera, they try to get him out of the temple, but King Louie is coming after him. I mean, the scene is intense, it's riveting. You don't know if King Louie is actually going to be able to get Mowgli, but luckily Mowgli is able to escape the temple just as it collapses on King Louie himself. But throughout this scene, Mowgli has now learned what had happened to the pack leader, and now he intends to go back to the jungle to confront Shere Khan. Mowgli does, however, make his way to the man village so he can get a torch of fire so he can confront Shere Khan. He gets to Peace Rock, he's ready to confront him one-on-one, but this is exactly what Shere Khan wants. Because as he was making his way back, Mowgli unintentionally had used the torch to start a forest fire behind them. This leaves all the animals around him very intimidated by him, starting to see Shere Khan's point of view to why the humans are seen as bad. But Mowgli obviously doesn't want to be seen as that bad human being, so with that, he takes the torch and he just throws it into the river. But honestly, after this, Shere Khan basically looks at Mowgli and he's like, you fucking idiot. Because now Mowgli has absolutely no way to defend himself against him. But Mowgli and all the animals around him, they know there's still one chance Mowgli has to defeat Shere Khan. Baloo, Bagheera, the wolf pack, they all try to hold off Shere Khan so Mowgli can make his way back into the jungle. Mowgli's able to use this time to set up a trap near this dead tree. Shere Khan makes his way into the jungle. He starts following Mowgli up to this tree. It looks intense. There are some really close encounters. You don't know if Shere Khan is ultimately going to be able to kill Mowgli. You don't know what Mowgli has set up to try to beat him. And finally, Mowgli is able to lure him onto this very small branch where the branch eventually breaks and Shere Khan falls into this pit of fire to his death. With that, the animals finally accept Mowgli as a human among them. So now Mowgli is able to stay in the jungle and use the human traits that he has grown to develop to help him throughout it. So all in all, I thought The Jungle Book was a fantastic movie. The kid who plays Mowgli, Neil Sethi, I think is how you say his name. He was fantastic in this movie. I mean, he's talking to CGI animals the whole time, which is tough for anybody. But he pulled it off very well. He stole the show as Mowgli. He was a great lead actor for what he needed to be. And what's crazy is I think this is the first real movie that he was a part of. I heard he was like part of like some short film from earlier, but this is his first real feature-length movie debut. And I know we're gonna see more of him in the future. He was awesome. The voice casting was all perfect. I mean, each individual voice brought each animal to life so well. The movie had a great balance of funny moments and serious moments and a lot of great throwbacks to the original animated Jungle Book that'll definitely bring out great nostalgia for fans. And I gotta say this right now, the visual effects in this movie are incredible. And I don't mean that just with the CGI animals themselves, but the fact that everything in this movie, including the jungle itself, It's all computer animated. None of it is real. From a visual standpoint, this is the best movie I have seen since Gravity. It looks phenomenal. The movie had some really intense moments that just had me on the edge of my seat at many times. I really can't think of that many flaws with this movie. It really was fantastic. It's hands down the best live action adaptation of The Jungle Book, and I heard that there is a chance that there's gonna be a sequel to this movie, and I'm totally okay with that because I really want to see where else this world can go. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.